An international peace conference temporarily divided Vietnam into North and South and agreed that countrywide elections would be held in 1956. America opposed the elections. They never took place.
It was felt that the elections could not be free in the North in particular. I would say that was part of it. The other was that a sense that even if free elections were held, they probably would be dominated by the communists, and the communists would gain control.
Ho Chi Minh, North Vietnam's leader, had lived in France and trained in Moscow. To many Vietnamese, he was a national hero, but Washington saw him as an instrument of the communist bloc. The North Vietnamese embarked on radical land reforms. Landowners and so-called rich peasants were persecuted, pilloried, and imprisoned. The party's cruel policies helped aggravate a refugee crisis. By 1955, close to 1 million people, some encouraged by American agents, had fled south. In South Vietnam, the United States underwrote the regime of President Diem, an anti-communist determined to resist Hanoi. Ruthless and autocratic, Diem was intolerant of any opposition. In 1960, to fight Diem and to unite the country under Hanoi, the communists created the National Liberation Front, known to its opponents as the Viet Cong. Such movements were encouraged by Moscow. Within a year of his election, after suffering the Bay of Pigs fiasco in Cuba and a crisis in Berlin, President Kennedy set out to show strength in Asia.
The objective was to prevent the dominoes from falling. The loss of Vietnam would trigger the loss of Southeast Asia and conceivably even the loss of India, and would strengthen the Chinese and the Soviet position across the world.
In South Vietnam, the Viet Cong was stepping up operations. They now had 170,000 men and women in the field. They could move and operate throughout most of the country. They repeatedly launched attacks in the heart of Saigon. American troops found it impossible to tell which Vietnamese were friends and which were foes.
How do you distinguish a civilian from a Viet Cong? Well, of course, he shoots at you, or he's armed. But how about what happens after a firefight, and you find bodies out there, but no weapons? And we were told, this is, well, if it's dead in Vietnamese, it's VC. That was the exact words.
You would go out, you would secure a piece of terrain during the daylight hours, and you'd surrender that, and I mean literally surrender, not be forced off. Well, maybe surrender is probably not a good word, but you'd give it up because the helicopters would come in and pick you up at night and fly you back to the security of your base camp.
At the beginning of 1967, the Americans used B-52s to bomb communist bases near the South Vietnamese capital, Saigon. They were trying to clear the area of Viet Cong. The savagery and apparent futility of the war aroused increasing dissent back home. Johnson was weakened by the growth of the anti-war movement in America.
Come on, mothers throughout the land, pack your boys off to Vietnam. Come on, fathers, don't hesitate. Send your sons off before it's too late. Be the first one on your block. Have your boy come home in a box. And it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. Next stop is Vietnam. And it's 5, 6, 7, open up the pearly gates. Yeah, there ain't no time to wonder why we all gonna die.
When you turned on AFN and you saw riots in the streets and whatever, and guys were saying, wait a minute, why am I fighting here when these guys at home are saying this is the wrong thing to do?
The strength of the Tet Offensive came as a shock to Westmoreland and the American public. On television, they saw their South Vietnamese allies fighting the Viet Cong in the streets of Saigon itself. Worse still, they saw the American embassy penetrated by Viet Cong commandos.
CIA men and MPs have gone into the embassy and are trying to get the snipers out by themselves.
With the Tet Offensive at its height, leading American politicians were turning on the president. The fiercest battle was to recapture the ancient city of Hue.
How long do you think it's going to take you to get through this city?
Oh, we'll be here in another few weeks anyway, cleaning it out. It'll take a little while to get it out of here.
You lost any friends?
Quite a few. We lost one the other day. Good buddy, man. The whole thing stinks, really.